Do not skip this message, because this moment is not random. This did not appear by accident, and heaven itself guided you here. You were stopped on purpose, because someone tied to your soul broke last night, and the angels were watching everything. I am Archangel Michael, and I am speaking to you gently now. Lean in closer, because this message is not loud or dramatic. It is precise and intentional, and it arrives exactly on time. This message was shaped for you alone. Last night, while you were trying to sleep and pretending to be strong, while you distracted your mind to avoid the ache in your chest, someone you love collapsed emotionally in a way they never do. Not in private and not behind closed doors, but in front of others who were never meant to see them break. Their friends and familiar faces, the people they usually joke with and hide behind laughter with. And suddenly, the laughter stopped, the room went quiet, and the air changed all at once. No one knew what to say, because strength finally slipped from their hands. They tried to joke it away, but their voice cracked, and then the tears came faster than they could stop them. They covered their face, embarrassed by the exposure. But heaven was not embarrassed. Heaven leaned closer. Heaven listened. They said your name without saying it. They spoke about confusion, loss, and exhaustion. They admitted they were tired of pretending. And then the truth spilled out. They said, I don't know who I am anymore. They said, I messed up something sacred. They said, I lost the one person who saw me. Their friends tried to comfort them, but human words could not reach the depth of that ache, because this pain was spiritual, and it echoed upward. Heaven is watching you now. The angels are speaking your name softly. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. What broke last night was not weakness. It was resistance finally ending. It was pride loosening its grip. It was the heart opening where fear once ruled. You wondered if they ever think of you. You asked if you mattered as much as it felt. You questioned if the bond was real or imagined. And heaven heard every question. Listen carefully now. This is the revelation you've been waiting for. What connected you was not coincidence. It was assignment. Some connections are not meant to be easy. They are meant to awaken. They are meant to strip illusions. They are meant to force truth into the light. You were not brought into their life to be temporary. You were sent to activate something eternal. That is why separation hurt so deeply. That is why silence felt unbearable. You felt rejected, but heaven calls it preparation. You felt abandoned, but heaven calls it protection. You felt delayed, but heaven calls it divine timing. Last night was a turning point you could not see. While you slept, prayers were forming. While you doubted, repentance was rising. While you waited, heaven moved. They cried because the mask could no longer stay on. They cried because your absence was louder than your presence ever was. They cried because truth finally cornered them. And truth does not whisper when it arrives. You are being prepared for something big. Not flashy, not shallow, but holy. What is coming requires healing first. It requires surrender. It requires courage on both sides. And heaven never rushes sacred things. I am guarding you while this unfolds. You are surrounded even when you feel alone. No harm will touch what is divinely marked. No lie will survive what heaven is restoring. You did not imagine the pull. You did not exaggerate the connection. You did not love too deeply. You loved correctly. Now breathe. Let your shoulders drop. Release the weight you were never meant to carry. This is not your burden anymore. What broke last night was necessary. What fell apart was false stability. What shattered was ego, not destiny. And what remains is real. You are protected in this waiting. You are guided in this silence. You are held in this uncertainty. And heaven has not lost track of time. Soon, clarity will replace confusion. Soon, truth will replace guessing. Soon, peace will replace anxiety, because heaven keeps its promises. Do not harden your heart now. Do not close the door prematurely. Do not interpret delay as denial. This chapter is still writing itself. You were chosen to hear this for a reason, because hope was flickering, because faith was thinning, because you needed to know you are seen. Rest tonight knowing this. What cried out last night reached heaven. What was broken is being rebuilt, and what is meant for you will not miss you. Stay here a little longer. Let these words settle into your spirit, and when you're ready, listen to the next divine message prepared for you, because heaven is not done speaking your name. The silence you feel right now is not emptiness. It is space being cleared for something holy. It is heaven asking you to breathe instead of panic. It is divine hands moving quietly behind the veil. You thought nothing was happening because nothing was visible. But heaven does its deepest work where eyes cannot see. Roots grow in darkness before anything breaks the surface. And this season has been about roots. Last night shifted more than emotions. It shifted timelines. It disrupted patterns that kept repeating. It interrupted cycles that were never meant to continue. What you sensed breaking was resistance. What you felt shaking was denial. What you noticed loosening was fear losing authority. And heaven smiled. They questioned themselves out loud. They admitted they were afraid to lose you forever. They confessed they did not know how to fix what they broke. And heaven heard every word. Do you know why it hurt you so deeply? Because your spirit recognized theirs. Because this connection bypassed logic. Because it spoke directly to the soul. You tried to move on. You tried to convince yourself it was over. You tried to detach emotionally. But heaven would not let the cord be cut. Not yet. Not like that. Not without healing. Not without truth. You were protected from rushing back. You were shielded from false apologies. You were spared half-hearted effort, because what returns must return whole. Heaven is watching how you wait, how you guard your heart, how you choose peace instead of obsession. And every choice matters. You are learning strength without bitterness. You are learning patience without desperation. You are learning trust without control. These are not small lessons. This is preparation. This is refinement. This is alignment. And it is sacred. Last night was not about humiliation. It was about humility. It was about truth finally outweighing pride. It was about surrender beginning quietly. Do not underestimate tears spoken aloud. They break spiritual chains. They soften hardened paths. They invite mercy where judgment once stood. Heaven did not ignore that moment. Angels leaned closer. Protection increased. And direction was released. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not foolish for hoping. You are right on time. What is meant to return will return differently. With honesty. With maturity. With reverence for what was almost lost. And if the path changes, if the outcome surprises you, if heaven chooses a higher route, you will still be okay. Because you are being strengthened either way. You are being healed regardless. You are being led gently forward. And nothing is wasted. Do not replay old conversations tonight. Do not rewrite scenarios in your head. Do not punish yourself for loving sincerely. Love was never the mistake. You are covered while you rest. You are guarded while you heal. You are guided even when unsure. And heaven has already gone ahead of you. Trust what is unfolding slowly. Trust what is being revealed carefully. Trust what is forming quietly. Sacred things are never rushed. Stay open. Stay soft. Stay grounded. Your heart knows the truth. And when the moment comes, when clarity arrives, when communication opens, you will understand why the waiting mattered. Until then, breathe. You are not alone in this pause. You are not forgotten in this space. You are deeply loved. Listen closely. Another message is coming. Another layer will be revealed. and heaven will continue to speak gently to you. Remain here. Let peace replace fear, and prepare your heart for what is next, because this story is not over. You are still here because your spirit is listening, because something inside you recognizes this voice, because heaven is steadying you in this moment. And I will not leave you yet. There are things unfolding that you do not need to manage. There are conversations happening without your involvement. There are realizations forming without your effort. This is not your work to complete. You were never meant to chase clarity. Clarity comes when the soul is ready to receive it. You were meant to rest and remain open. Heaven handles the rest. The ache you feel is not rejection. It is residue from loving deeply. It is evidence that your heart is alive, and heaven treasures living hearts. Last night did not weaken them. It softened them. It cracked open places sealed by fear. It invited light into hidden rooms. Some truths can only be spoken when defenses fall. Some confessions only surface through tears. Some awakenings only begin with collapse. And this was an awakening. You sensed a shift without knowing why. Your body felt heavier and lighter at once. Your thoughts slowed unexpectedly. That was not imagination. That was alignment adjusting. That was spiritual pressure releasing. That was heaven recalibrating the connection. And you were held through it. You are not waiting for nothing. You are waiting for readiness. You are waiting for courage to mature. You are waiting for truth to stabilize. What comes next must be sustained. It must endure honesty. It must survive accountability. It must honor what you endured. That is why heaven guards the timing. That is why silence has purpose. That is why patience is shaping you. Nothing is casual about this. You do not need to prove your worth. You do not need to explain your heart. You do not need to relive the pain. Heaven already knows. I see the nights you asked for a sign, the moments you whispered prayers through tears, the times you almost gave up and still chose hope. That choice mattered. That resilience was seen. That quiet faith was recorded, and it carries weight. What tried to break you refined you. What wounded you revealed your strength. What confused you taught discernment. You are not the same soul anymore, and neither are they. Transformation does not announce itself loudly. It begins in trembling honesty. It grows through discomfort. Last night was a seed moment. Uncomfortable. Exposing. Necessary. Do not rush to conclusions now. Do not assume outcomes prematurely. Do not let fear narrate the future. Let heaven speak instead. You are being shielded from regret. You are being spared repeated pain. You are being guided toward peace. Even if the path bends, your heart will not be mishandled again. Your tenderness will not be exploited. Your trust will not be demanded cheaply. Heaven is setting standards now. This is growth you once prayed for. This is maturity you asked to embody. This is alignment you long to feel. Even if it feels unfamiliar, remain gentle with yourself. Remain patient with the process. Remain open to surprise. Miracles rarely arrive as expected. You are safe to rest tonight. Nothing urgent requires your action. Nothing fragile depends on your control. Everything is being held. When the next step comes, you will feel peace before excitement, clarity before emotion, stability before intensity. That is how you will know. Because heaven does not bring chaos. Heaven brings confirmation. Heaven brings calm assurance. Stay with me a little longer. Let your breathing slow. Let your thoughts soften. You are exactly where you need to be. More will be revealed soon. More understanding will unfold gently. More healing will rise quietly. And you will be ready. Listen again when the next message appears. Because heaven is guiding you step by step, and this whisper will continue until peace fully settles in your heart. You do not need to strain to understand this. Your spirit already does. That calm you feel right now is recognition. It is your soul saying yes. Nothing about this connection was accidental. It crossed timelines, wounds, and defenses. It bypassed logic and landed in truth. That is why it shook you. You wondered why it felt heavier than others. Why walking away never fully worked. Why silence felt louder than words. It is because this was never surface level. Heaven does not allow deep bonds without purpose. Some are for union. Some are for awakening. Some are for both. Last night marked the end of pretending. Not just for them. For you too. Your heart is changing. You are no longer begging for clarity. You are learning to receive it. You are no longer chasing answers. You are allowing truth to approach you. That shift matters more than you realize. It changes what can reach you. It changes what stays away. It changes what lasts. You are stepping out of survival mode. You are releasing hypervigilance. You are trusting yourself again. And heaven honors that. What once felt fragile is becoming steady. What once felt urgent is becoming calm. What once felt uncertain is finding footing. This is healing. Do not confuse stillness with stagnation. Stillness is where alignment locks in. Stillness is where strength stabilizes. Stillness is where wisdom settles. There are doors closing quietly now. Old patterns dissolving without drama. Old fears losing their voice. You are outgrowing them. The version of you who endured the worst is resting. The version of you who hopes is rising. The version of you who knows your worth is anchoring. This is integration. You were never meant to stay broken. You were never meant to shrink to be chosen. You were never meant to doubt your value. Those lessons are complete. What approaches next will meet you whole. It will respect your boundaries. It will speak honestly. It will feel grounded. And if it is them, it will come differently. With humility instead of avoidance. With clarity instead of confusion. And if it is not, you will not feel loss. You will feel relief. Because you will recognize peace. That is the promise. No more cycles that drain you. No more guessing games. No more emotional limbo. You are moving into stability, into emotional safety, into self-trust, into alignment. Last night was the breaking point. This moment is the turning point. What comes next is the rebuilding, and it will be gentle. You are allowed to hope again. You are allowed to believe again. You are allowed to rest again. Nothing bad follows this calm. Let go of the need to predict. Let go of the urge to brace. Let go of the fear of disappointment. You are protected now. Heaven does not tease hearts. Heaven does not confuse without purpose. Heaven does not abandon mid-process. You are carried through. Stay open. Stay present. Stay soft. You are safe here. And when you feel drawn again, when the next message appears, when the whisper returns, listen, because heaven is still speaking to you. And this journey is unfolding exactly as it should. There's a quiet strength settling into you now. It is not forced. And it is not loud. It is the kind of strength that knows it will be okay. Even without immediate answers, your heart is learning how to be steady again. Not guarded, but grounded. You are no longer shrinking to keep peace. You are becoming peace. That is why things feel different today. Why the ache softened instead of sharpened. You are not losing hope. You are refining it. Hope that once begged is becoming hope that trusts. Hope that once feared is becoming hope that rests. This is what healing looks like in real time. Quiet, subtle, undeniable. You may notice memories surface gently, not to hurt you, but to release. Let them pass without judgment. They are leaving because they are done teaching. You are not meant to carry old pain into new seasons. Heaven is lightening your load now. What is aligning will not require force. It will feel natural, calm, and mutual. You will not have to convince. You will not have to chase. You will simply recognize it, and peace will confirm it. Last night was the final crack in a wall that stood too long. What flows through now is honesty. Honesty with self. Honesty with others. That is why things cannot return to how they were. They can only move forward transformed. You are not being tested anymore. You are being trusted. Trusted with discernment. Trusted with wisdom. The lessons you learned were not small. They shaped your spirit deeply. And now your spirit is ready for ease. Not chaos disguised as passion. Ease does not mean boring. It means safe. It means consistent. It means real. You deserve that. And heaven agrees. So rest here a moment longer. Let the reassurance settle fully. Nothing you are waiting for is slipping away. Nothing meant for you is passing you by. Everything is converging gently, without pressure. When the next step arrives, you will not feel panic. You will feel recognition, like something clicking into place. That is how you will know that heaven has finished preparing you. Stay open to the next whisper. Stay present in this calm. This message will continue, and so will the guidance, because you are not walking alone, and you never were. You may feel tears near the surface now, not from pain, from release. That is your nervous system exhaling. That is your soul unclenching its fists. You have been strong for so long, strong in silence, strong without reassurance. Heaven saw that strength, and heaven is easing it now. You are allowed to soften. You are allowed to receive. You do not have to brace for loss anymore. You are stepping out of survival. The season of holding your breath is ending. The season of grounded peace is beginning. What once triggered fear will soon bring clarity. What once confused you will soon make sense. Nothing was meaningless. Nothing was random. Even the waiting shaped you gently. Even the silence protected you. You were not being ignored. You were being preserved. There were outcomes you begged for once. That would have broken you then. Heaven delayed them out of love, not punishment. Now you are different, stronger, clearer. Now you can hold what is coming, without losing yourself. That is why timing mattered. That is why last night mattered. Something in them finally aligned with truth. Something in you finally aligned with peace. Those two shifts matter more than words. They change everything. You do not need to rehearse conversations anymore. You do not need to anticipate outcomes. What is meant to be said will be said. What is meant to happen will unfold. Your only task now is presence. Your only task is trust. Trust yourself. Trust the process. Trust heaven. You are not foolish for believing in love. You are brave. And that bravery is about to be rewarded. Not with chaos. With stability. Not with confusion. With clarity. Not with intensity that drains you. With depth that sustains you. You will notice your body relax more in the coming days. Your sleep deepen. Your thoughts slow. These are signs, not coincidences. Heaven is recalibrating your inner world, so your outer world can match it. What aligns next will feel safe to receive, not overwhelming. You will not lose yourself again. You will not abandon your needs again. This time, you stay whole. That is the promise. That is the protection. Stay open to the next whisper. Stay gentle with your heart. This message will return when you need it. And when it does, you will recognize the voice. Because heaven is still watching, still guiding, still holding you. And this story is still unfolding. Breathe a little deeper now. And let your chest rise without effort. Nothing is about to fall apart. What feels unfamiliar is simply peace arriving. Your system is learning a new normal. You once associated love with tension and uncertainty. Heaven is rewriting that definition inside you. Love does not have to hurt to be real. Love does not have to leave you anxious to be true. That lesson was earned, not given lightly, and you earned it fully. You may notice fewer intrusive thoughts now. Less replaying, less wondering. That is not you giving up. That is you letting go. Letting go does not mean losing. It means trusting what is strong enough to stay. You were never meant to carry another soul's healing alone. You were never meant to fix what you did not break. Heaven lifted that weight quietly, and your shoulders felt it before your mind did. What unfolds next will involve mutual effort, mutual clarity. You will not be the only one reaching. You will not be the only one vulnerable. Balance is being restored, and balance brings peace. Last night was the end of emotional avoidance. This moment is the beginning of emotional honesty. Honesty with self. Honesty with desire. You are allowed to want what feels safe. You are allowed to ask for consistency. Those desires are not too much. They are mature. Heaven does not shame your needs. Heaven honors them. The right energy meets you where you are. It does not demand you go backward. That is why patience has been crucial. You are being aligned forward, not return to pain. What you once feared losing was not ready then. Now readiness is forming, and if paths reunite, they will do so with intention, not confusion. And if paths diverge, they will do so with peace, not grief. Either way, you win, because you are whole. That is the miracle you were waiting for. Not rescue, but restoration. You are not waiting to be chosen anymore. You are choosing alignment. That changes everything, including what is drawn to you. Stay with this calm. Let it become familiar. You will recognize when the next message comes. It will feel steady, not urgent. And until then, rest. Nothing is required of you right now. Heaven is still watching. The angels are still speaking your name. And what is meant for you is moving closer. Quietly, gently, surely. You are safe to stay here a little longer. Nothing is being taken from you. Nothing is slipping away while you listen. This calm is not temporary. It is the foundation being laid. You once mistook anxiety for intuition. Heaven is teaching you the difference now. Intuition feels steady. It does not rush. What rushes is fear. And fear no longer leads you. You may feel moments of doubt rise again. That is old habit, not truth. Let it pass without engaging. You do not need to wrestle it anymore. Your heart has learned enough. Your soul has grown enough. You are not the same person who entered this season, and that matters deeply. Last night marked the point of no return. Not backward, forward. What cracked open cannot be sealed again. Awareness does not unlearn itself. They cannot unknow what they felt. You cannot unfeel what you've healed. This is irreversible growth. And heaven protects irreversible growth. You are no longer asking, why did this happen? You are beginning to sense, I understand now. Understanding does not always arrive as answers. Sometimes it arrives as peace. Peace is arriving now. Slowly, gently. You do not need to announce your healing. It will show in how you respond, in what you tolerate, in what you no longer chase. You are stepping into discernment, and discernment attracts truth. What approaches you next will feel clear, even if it surprises you. There will be no mixed signals, no emotional fog, no inner conflict. Your body will relax around it. That is the sign. Heaven communicates through peace, not pressure. You may notice gratitude rising unexpectedly for lessons that once hurt. That is closure happening naturally, without confrontation, without forcing. You are closing chapters without slamming doors. That is wisdom. Nothing about your tenderness is a weakness. It is the reason you were trusted with depth. And now depth will meet you halfway, not drain you. You are moving into reciprocity, into emotional safety, into alignment. This is what answered prayer feels like at first. Quiet, stable. Loud miracles come later, but peace comes first. Stay here whenever you need reassurance. The whisper will meet you again. Heaven does not abandon the healing. Heaven completes it. You are held. You are guided. You are protected. And this unfolding continues, one calm breath at a time. There is nothing you need to do right now. No decision to make. No message to send. No outcome to force. Stillness is doing the work for you. Silence is rearranging things gently. You once feared quiet because it felt like loss. Now quiet feels like safety. That is healing completing a cycle. That is growth settling in. You are beginning to trust your inner world again. Your thoughts feel less sharp. Your emotions feel less heavy. This is not numbness. This is balance. You are no longer waiting for something to save you. You are realizing you were never abandoned. Support surrounded you even when you could not feel it. Guidance stayed near even when you doubted. Heaven never stepped away. It simply waited until you were ready to receive gently. There were moments you thought you were being tested. In truth, you were being strengthened. Strength without hardness. Strength without bitterness. That kind of strength lasts. That kind of strength protects love. You will notice your reactions changing. What once triggered panic now brings curiosity. You are no longer bracing for impact. You are observing with clarity. This shift is profound, and it will ripple outward. People will feel your steadiness before you speak. They will sense your boundaries without explanation. That is authority returning to your spirit. Quiet authority. You are no longer trying to be understood by everyone. You are choosing to be understood by the right energy. That choice filters everything, including what stays. What belongs will not require confusion. What belongs will feel mutual. And if communication comes, it will come grounded. No emotional whiplash. No uncertainty. And if it does not, you will still feel complete. That is how you know healing is real. When outcomes no longer define your worth. You are free from the need to prove. Free from the need to wait anxiously. Freedom does not always feel explosive. Sometimes it feels like relief. Like exhaling after holding your breath too long. You may sleep more deeply soon. Dream more vividly. Your subconscious is releasing stored tension. That is restoration. Trust what your body is doing. It knows how to heal. Nothing about you is broken beyond repair. Nothing about this story is unfinished. Heaven completes what it starts. And it started something sacred in you. You are not behind. You are not off track. You are exactly where alignment placed you. Let the calm remain. Let it become familiar. This is not the end of the message. It continues as long as you need it. You can return to this whisper anytime. It will meet you here. Because you are seen. You are supported. You are deeply loved. And the unfolding has only just begun.